Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Live show for February 15th, 2022. Tonight's special guest is Santa Allen, Mitchell Allen, who will be joining us tonight from Hire Santa. So everyone, please stay with us. We'll be back right after this product endorsement. Welcome back to the show. I'm Santa Bob McMasters as always, and we're so humbled to be here with you tonight. Please give a warm welcome to my co-host, Santa Barry E. Cummings.
Hey everybody, glad to be with you this beautiful Tuesday night. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you enjoy the show tonight.
And our producer, Elfa Angela, says hello to everyone. All right, so guys, here we are in season 2, week 6, and the shows just keep rolling on here at the Tuesday Night Live show. We want to thank everyone for spending your Tuesday night with us. We are so honored to have you. We will always strive to have quality guests that can help you learn and grow as professional entertainers. Tonight's guest is so informative. We have had him on as our only guest host and as a guest before. Please help us out. Hit that share because Tuesday Night Live show is free and always will be.
Everyone, first reach over there and hit that like and share button. Help us build the viewership of the show and for our content for tonight. Want to go ahead and say the first half of the Tuesday Night Live show is sponsored by Derek Dugan's Sleigh Driver Apparel Company. Check him out. All right. Thank you, Derek, for sponsoring this segment of the Tuesday Night Live show. Trivia question tonight is, this state was the first state to declare Christmas a legal holiday in 1836. This state was the first to declare Christmas a legal holiday in 1836. Good luck, everybody.
We want to mention at this point, too, that if you have one of the trivia questions on Tuesday Night Live this year, 2022, please hold back and let someone else who has not won play. We're putting everyone into a 30-day holding pattern once you've won, so you're not eligible to play again for 30 days.
All right. Anybody got a guess? This state was the first to declare Christmas a legal holiday in 1836. And it'll probably surprise you.
Yeah, we played along here at the house before the show, and no one could guess the correct answer.
Not North Carolina, not New York, not Michigan. Alabama. I don't know who the Facebook user is there. If you would, type your name in. Alabama is correct. We can get whoever that is to put their name in. They'll pop it up here in a minute. Let's go ahead and move on into the show here, Bob. Tonight's guest was born out in West in Denver City, Texas. He is entertained as Santa Claus and as an elf and also a mascot. He's the owner and founder of one of the top placement agencies, and it's known as Hire Santa. And both Mitch and Hire Santa was featured on the hit show Shark Tank. We're excited to have him back from our season 1. So please give a warm Tuesday Night Live welcome to Mitch Allen, aka Santa Mitch. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey guys, glad to be here. Though I heard Bob say that you're striving to have quality guests here. So I don't know who you're talking about. That's not me. So I am so honored to be back here today and to talk with y'all again and with all the people watching. So hey guys, and hey all the listeners out there. Hey Melissa.
Mitch, it's always a treat to have you on the show. As we mentioned, you guest hosted one night for us when I was out of pocket, and you was a guest one other time last year. Always informative, and yes, you are quality guest. All right, so welcome to the show, brother. Let's get started off to know the personal side of Mitch. This is something we've kind of started doing this year. Everybody knows Mitch as Santa, as Elf. We even talked about mascot last time, but let's talk about Mitch. Share with us what it was like growing up in a small town America. First, do you have any siblings? And what did you do as a child in Denver City, Texas, for entertainment to occupy your interest and time?
Well, Denver City is a typical small town America. For about 4,000 people when the oil and gas prices were up, middle of nowhere out in West Texas, and it was a great place to grow up. I did have an older brother. He's 3 years older than I am, and it was really just being outside. We didn't have a lot of rules in terms of what everybody knew everyone, and you stayed out of trouble because everyone knew everyone. But there was just a lot of things: riding your bike, hanging out with your friends, playing board games. Video games had just started coming about. Playing video games, board games, and those types of things, and then just school and tennis and sports and football, basketball, band. Small town, you do everything, and it's a great place to grow up.
Yeah, me living on the east side of Dallas, we were actually not really considered a part of Dallas for ages, and we had that small town feel here. It keeps you on your best behavior because the last thing you want to do is do something and someone see it and go back to your parents or grandparents and tell them about it. What did your parents do for a living in rural West Texas town of just over 4,000 in population, where most small towns jobs are very hard to come by?
Yeah, so that we were they're an educated education family. My mom was a fourth grade teacher, and my dad was an elementary school principal, and so we were very plugged into the community in that way. So everyone loved my mom because there was probably a 1 in 4 chance that she was your fourth grade teacher, and everyone was scared of my dad because he was principal, and at one point, this is back in the day, had spanked half the kids in Denver City.
That speaks for why you were so educated. On that note, did you stay in Denver City up until you graduated high school and then go off to college?
Yeah, that's right. So I was born in Denver City and then grew up there and graduated high school. So I lived there. My mom, my dad passed away a number of years ago, but my mom still lives there. And, we visited there this last Christmas. And so right after Christmas. So it still looks the same, smells the same. It's an oil and gas town. So when you enter the county, you definitely know that you've arrived at Denver City.
The smell?
Yes.
Yes, that's the way it is out in Odessa, Midland, anywhere out in West Texas where there's lots of oil refineries and stuff. So that's going to bring me to the next quick comment, and it's basically a comment. But 214 and 83, 2055 and 390, those are all significant numbers in Denver City.
Hold on one second. What numbers again?
214 and 83, 2055 and 390. Those are the major roads that cross through Denver City.
Okay. I was going to say there are no roads. It's interesting about Denver City is that you can't go there unless you're going there. You either go through Plains, which is to Plains is to the north, Seminole is to the south, and if you're going to New Mexico, sort of in that area, you'd go through those cities, and you're not going to Denver City unless you are headed there. So there are it's just little bitty roads to get out there.
Mitch, what was it like in Denver City at Christmas time? Did they decorate the main downtown area or the main avenue there in town?
I was just talking about this with our family when we were there at Christmas, was that it looks like I'm sure they're different, They look exactly the same as when we were growing up. The things that they put on every light post as you're going down the road. There's a candle and a snowman and a Christmas tree that are on the street lights on a couple of the main roads. And they still had a Santa shack. And, a volunteer there does Santa and has been doing, or it's a different one now, but on a couple of days of the year, we'll go out and be Santa. And then there's a small town parade. I haven't seen it in, it's got to be 40 or 50, 40 years or more, 30 years or more. But the other small parade, it was a great time to be there. And I still remember having the Sears catalog, and that's how you chose it was basically making your Christmas list. You'd tear out the page and circle the item on the Sears catalog, and that's where your Christmas list came from.
Yeah, I love that when at the mall the children bring the ads circled of what they want, and it never fails. They'll have 25 or 30 items circled that they got to have, and of course because of time, you always say, well, give me the 2 or 3 that you just got to have for sure. So this is kind of an odd question, but I thought that it would be interesting. Growing up in far West Texas along the New Mexico border, there probably hadn't been too many radio stations that you guys listened to growing up. Music was important to most teens, back in our high school years. So what station did you listen to, and what kind of music did they play?
There weren't many radio stations back or out then, and obviously we didn't have the internet or some sort of satellite radio, but there was a couple of radio stations out of Hobbs, New Mexico, and that was the closest city to Denver City of any size. And so there was a sort of a pop station, 94.1, I think it was. I don't remember the call signs, but it was the radio station that pretty much everyone listened to, unless you were listening to country. It was sort of just the pop music of the day. And that's what you listen to, or that's what I listen to, and most of my friends listen to. And it's interesting is I didn't really, I now like country music from that same era, but I didn't listen to it at the time. It was many years later, which I maybe acquired the taste for country music.
It's all good. My father listened to rock. My mom listened to country, so I grew up at both. Barry?
Yeah, Mitch, what kind of hobbies do you have now or have had in the past? I know we talked, you said you was a college tennis player.
Yeah, and I haven't played in a really long time, probably 30 years or so. I enjoy hiking, camping with my children. I've got 3 children still in the house. One's a senior about to leave, but we enjoy camping, going to hanging out with our family. We had quite a few people over this weekend, a family. And so mainly it's, camping, being outside. I enjoy reading, learning. Entrepreneurialism is one of my passions. So learning and talking about business and talking with other entrepreneurs takes up a lot of my spare time these days.
We know whatever you're going to do, you're going to have fun in it. That's what we appreciate about you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's change gears a little bit. Now, as a Santa and Mrs. Claus, how can social media help build your brand, your online presence, and marketability, and give us some do's and don'ts in the public forum?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and I think that social media has changed things so much, and I think that you have to be on for businesses in general. You have to have. You had to be in the yellow pages. Well, that sort of went away. Now you had to have a website. Now these days you have to have a Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, just so that people can see that you're out there and around. That's a little bit different for Santa Claus entertainers. I think really for Santas, in terms of online marketing, it's really about a website still. When people are going to find a Santa Claus locally, they're usually using a search engine like Google primarily to find their Santas that are in their area, or to find somebody who can find them. But you definitely have to be on social media so that people can see and interact with you. Here at Hire Santa, we're pretty much on all the social media. We don't do very much on TikTok, but in terms of Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course our websites, we're pretty active, and we try to be helpful not only to the community of clients, but also to the Santa Claus community. And we think that it's a very, very positive thing for us to be positive influences in the Santa Claus community. But outside of the Santa Claus community, it's all about helping brands associate themselves with Christmas and showing how Hire Santa can help do that. Internally, it's always Christmas here at Hire Santa, and we just want to be a contributing member to the Santa Claus community.
You do a great job at it, but is there any do's and don'ts of Santa or Mrs. Claus needs to stay away from on social media?
Oh man, well, there's so many. Do's is just play nice, but the don'ts, I'd say there's a big one just about keep politics out. I'm doing a presentation about public relations, and you just need to keep politics out. And in today's world, politics means almost everything. It's not just guns. It's not just vaccinations. It's not just Republicans and Democrats. It's almost everything is politicized in some way or another. And keeping that off your social media is really important because people will just pile on and and then things can go viral in some way or another. And you don't want to do that. So I would say, number one, keep politics out of it. Keep positive. Keep things positive. And if you're going to have your own Facebook be your Santa profile, realize that people are looking at that as your Santa character. And if you don't want your clients seeing something, well, don't put it up there.
Great advice. Now, I got another question also on that. Have you seen a greater demand for ethnic diversity in the red suit industry this year?
It's not just this year. It's probably been the last couple of years. We've seen a huge increase in the number of people that want diverse Santas. Now, this might be a Black Santa or a Spanish-speaking Santa. This year we actually were asked for not just French-speaking Santas, but French-Canadian speaking Santas. And I had never seen that before. But there's a huge demand for diversity, and we need more Santas in general here at Hire Santa, but particularly for diverse Santas. We can just use hundreds of more Santas that speak Spanish, Black Santas, as well as other ethnicities of Santa. But it's a huge increase, hundreds of times more demand than we've seen in the past. And that's really even goes to see the TV commercials. There were commercials this year about that had more ethnicity and more diversity in terms of the Santa Claus and Mrs. Clauses that were on national TV. So yeah, it's a trend, and I see it continuing as we move forward.
You got here speaking of ethnic diversity and Santas of color, here in a couple of 3 weeks, we've got Larry Jefferson coming on the show, Santa of color, and we also have Santa D. Sinclair coming on. Those were
they're great Santas. Those are great Santas, and we over in the Hire Santa Claus Entertainers Facebook group, we do these Santa Claus interviews. We've got some terrific ones coming up. I've already done them. We try to do a lot of them in January and February, but we've got Chris Saunders. And so he was a Santa. He's a Black Santa who actually worked at Disney this last year. So in terms of going mainstream, it doesn't get sort of mainstream more than Disney. And then of course we've just got a whole slew of people from Lee Andrews, Santa True, Stephen Arnold, Jeff McMullen, Ted Flynn. We got a Mrs. Claus Roundtable coming out. So lots of great content there. And like Mrs. Claus's, we're really trying to also. It's not just Santa, but it's also Mrs. Claus and other holiday entertainers that we're trying to also promote in terms of that diversity.
Yes, and that's kind of where we here at Tuesday Night Live Show and the Hire Santa interviews that you do are linked. It seems like a lot of the guests that you have, we have, vice versa. Mm-hmm. And again, we're doing the same thing, just trying to get those people out there, get them to be known, tell their stories. And I love your platform. You was the inspiration for this show. We've said that many times. And this last week's interview, I got to say, with Michael and Michael was fantastic, top notch. And on that note, there was a question that they had asked you about you going to see Santa for the first time or memory of Santa. And you spoke about the Santa in the little building. Let's talk about that just for a second. And let's take it a step further. Did you guys decorate your home big time as a child? Your parents decorate a lot, or was it just simple Christmas tree?
Is definitely just we had inside. It was mainly just a Christmas tree. That was the decoration that we did. But outside, we put up. We didn't go all out. We weren't anything in terms of that special. But our neighborhood, we had what we called luminaries, which were these plastic, look like large cups that had a light on the inside of it, and they would every house on our street would have bought the same luminaries, and so the sidewalks were lined with these the entire side, and then white Christmas lights in the bushes and on the trees. It wasn't an HOA, but a small town, and all the people in our street decided to do the same decorations. So I definitely remember getting out there on cold, windy days out in West Texas, putting those luminaries and lights up a lot. And so that was sort of the decorations that we had. It was pretty straightforward, but it's a good memory.
It's not extremely cold in West Texas as it is in other parts of the country, but the wind always makes it brutal.
Yeah.
Barry, you got any follow-up questions on any of that?
No, I don't have anything on that.
All right. Well, let's take a short breather right here, Mitch, because it's time in the Tuesday Night Live show to take our break for a special product announcement. So stay with us right after this. That's right. Stop the show. It's time for the Tuesday Night Live Showstopper special. For this week, as always, we go out to StuffForSanta.com's Showstopper special, straight out to the second head clown at large and in charge. Daisy may be in the first. She's not with us tonight, but Spangle the Clown is. Hey, Spangle.
Hey, guys. How are you? Stop the show. We got the sale today. Check this out. It's StuffForSanta.com. We have this beautiful black and gold sleigh buckle. Fits up to a 4-inch belt. Just beautiful. We're going to do this for $30. We're even going to ship it to you free. That's just a beautiful buckle. Nice, elegant sleigh. $30 and it's yours. Nice and pretty. Fits up to a 4-inch belt. Make it yours. Make it your new collection.
Man, I got to say $50 is a steal on that. Now you're dropping it to $30. If you don't sell 100,000 of those this week, I don't know what's wrong with everyone. That's a fantastic buckle, and you can't beat that price. Now that comes.
Yeah, I think Mitch Allen ought to put all his Santas in that.
That's a great looking buckle. Is that and you said up to a 4-inch, but it also
up to a 4-inch, yeah.
That's great.
$30. Nice. And it's yours.
Scott Parker says there goes his tax refund.
Good deal. Hey, also, we're going to be giving away a scholarship to School of Santas. We're going to start the thing next week. It's going to go for 6 weeks. There's 3 things you got to do to get qualified. Every week that you do the 3 things, you'll get your name in the hat. At the end of the 6 weeks, we'll draw a name. We need you to like, share, and comment on the Sat Bob Live. So during the show, you'll have to do those 3 things, and you'll have to be during the show to get into it. We'll do those 3 things, and we will get you a name in the hat. And the more times you do it, it'll be for 6 weeks. And the more times you do it, the more times your name will go in the hat. And we're going to give away a scholarship to the School of Santas, a $359 value.
And think about that. It costs nothing to do those 3 things other than a few moments of your time. So what a heck of a deal, Spanky. You just always blow my mind with some of the stuff you come up with.
Hey, we're just trying to help this channel get bigger and bigger.
Hey, and you know what? It's growing. We're not near as big as Mitchell's program, but Mitchell's been doing it a little while longer, and his program is top notch. We're second to him for sure. I do want to mention that's free shipping on that buckle, and that is through next Monday, February 21st on that special.
Right. I guess it's going the other way. Camera's backwards.
Is that just for the black and gold one, Spangle? I know you have.
Yeah, the black and shiny gold.
That's still
a different week. We might do a different one, but that's this one this week.
Yep, absolutely beautiful. Tell them when the school is, Spangle.
The school is the 3rd weekend of July. This week, that would be July 14th through the 17th. Even if you don't win, you can come join us. It's $359. We take care of all your meals. We go to we have entertainment that comes in twice during the show. We go to the theaters twice, and all that is included in your registration. And you can ask Bob. It's a party. We have a good time.
Yes, we do. And I guarantee you're not going to find a better deal at that price for all the stuff that goes along with it. It's the event of the year. As far as, the summertime, get out, go a day early, stay a day late, enjoy Branson, Missouri. Beautiful in the summertime. A ton of things to do.
Yeah, visit our website, schoolofsantas.com. There's one phone number on there, Tanya Lay. She'll book your hotel. She'll book your reservation for the school. If you want to do other shows or whatever while you're there also, she'll take care of that and probably get you a discount too. One person, one thing.
What's that?
Yep. Well, no, one. She's one person. She'll take care of everything.
Yes, she does. Very simple, and wonderful to work with. All right, let's move on to the next thing.
You are watching the Tuesday Night Live show with Bob, Barry, and Angela. Sponsored by StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com, where you can find everything you need to support your Santa and Mrs. Claus business. Remember, if Spangle ain't got it, it doesn't exist. So contact Spangle at StuffForSanta.com today. Now back to the show.
Love that.
Hey, not only were we selling one for $30 tonight, we're even going to give one of these away with the trivia question. All right, there are three. How many states? Or no, there's 3 states with the name Santa Claus in them. What is that? What are they?
What are the
We
3?
all know the one real easy.
Yeah, most people know about the one because of the event that's there. That's there.
Used to be there.
Most of us have tried to either visit or are going to visit, but there's 3 altogether. And while they're doing that, you've already had 2 buckles sold while you was talking.
All right.
I'll get them to get with you after the show.
All right.
We need 3.
3 now.
No,
I'll almost have enough to fill up my truck.
on the trivia question.
Oh, she's talking about the trivia question.
Oh.
Just 2 buckles so far.
All right, I'm back down to a half a tank.
Anybody got any guesses?
Melissa was close. She missed one.
Melissa missed one. She had 2 of them.
Yeah, she has 2 right.
Get that third
Seeing any of them coming up.
buckle.
I think there's an old song, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
She was one that wanted to buy the buckle though.
There she goes.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, there she goes.
Well,
Well,
now
she
you
just saved money. Now we're down to 1.
one. Just your luck.
Hey, that's all right. I don't mind.
That's all right. Hey, that was fun. I like that trivia question there. Okay, real quick. We got a report from our roving reporter out in the field this week, Mr. Spangle the Clown. Take it away.
Hey, this is your roving reporter from Sat Bob's Live, and went on to let you know that this week we were in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, with the Oklahoma Santas. They meet quarterly, and they alternate between the Oklahoma City area and the Tulsa area. This one we met at Johnny's Broiler, famous place for hamburgers, and boy, did I eat them up. Really good. Onion rings were out of this world. Anyways, they had about 60 people in attendance. A lot of it was on their meeting dealt with a lot of the new election that they got coming up on who's going to be the new president and secretary and all that. We got to meet a lot of new faces, and I was really happy to see that there were a lot of new people that are just getting into the Santa community, because after last year having such a shortfall of Santas, it was nice to see a whole bunch more. Anyways, coming up this next week, we have locations that we're going to be stopping in: Ozark, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, Louisville, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We'll be at all those stops along with some stops in Virginia. So keep us tuned to find out what's going on around the country with your roving reporter of Sat Bob's Live.
Fantastic job.
Back to the show, guys.
I know today you asked about Nashville. Has Nashville been put on your list?
I'm working with a spot in Nashville.
Okay, very good.
And we're working with 2 spots in North Carolina right now, and possibly one with Melissa in Little Rock.
Very good. Everyone, it takes a lot of gas, a lot of time, a lot of trouble to haul that big old long bad boy trailer that Spangle has now. So if he's in a town or city near you, get out and spend a little bit of money with him, please.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it. It helps me having to push that thing down the road.
Yeah, and you initiated it this last weekend too.
Yeah, I wasn't going to tell everybody that.
I did. Very good.
We
Okay.
went off the edge of a curb and kind of smacked the back end of it a little bit.
Yeah, it's just.
But when you're 75 feet long going down the highway, that takes up a lot of space.
Yes, it does. It's just a little hickey. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not hardly noticeable.
We'll jump back into the show. As always, we appreciate everything you do, and we will talk to you after a while.
All right, bye,
Thank you.
guys. Nice to listen to the show.
All right, Mitch, let's get started back with a serious topic. And This was a recent, there has been some misinformation on Facebook that needs addressing. When Hire Santa offers an exclusive contract as a standby Santa, that's a standby Santa, does said Santa get paid whether he is sent out on a gig or not? And why is it important to have a free schedule with no other gigs? And I have a follow-up to that.
Yeah. So, thanks for the question. So we have a number of different opportunities from Santas. Santas who want to stay in their own area. We have what we call weekend warriors, where we guarantee a certain number of hours, whether we book them or not. Those are generally in major metropolitan areas, but primarily, and we are definitely hiring right now what we call these traveling or on-call Santas, where these are Santas that we guarantee them pay. And as you know, there's been lots of issues with other people about guaranteed pay or people backing out. But Hire Santa is known for guaranteeing our pay, that if we say we're going to pay you, we're going to pay you. Our traveling Santas, how that generally works is we say we're going to guarantee you a certain amount of money. And that in essence buys your time and buys your schedule for the year. Because if a Santa gets sick or gets COVID, we may need you to fly out to a particular job and stay there for a day, a week, or the entire season. And so it makes having individual gigs locally where you are very difficult. We do have some Santas that do that, and we try to work with them. But generally speaking, that exclusivity that I think was misinformation was it wasn't that we don't want you to have other events, but if we're wanting you to be an on-call Santa, that means that we are paying you to be ready to go at a drop of a hat. And some years those Santas get called up, some years they don't. Last year we used everyone we had, but the previous few years we hadn't actually. We don't use all of our Santas, but you do need to be ready to go. And you may go to one place, you may go to 3 places during the season, or you may go to 0 places. But it's a very important position that we want to have Santa. So if you're interested in traveling, have some flexibility and want the excitement of just going wherever you're needed, please reach out to us. Reach out to Jenny at hiresanta.com. I would love to have you on the on-call traveling Santa list this year.
Okay. Also, as a follow-up to that, if you're a standby Santa or on-call Santa, and you're getting paid for that, now when you go out to do a specific gig, be it a short period or for a full season, do you get extra pay for that?
Yeah. So, and we pay, just to follow up with that, we pay for travel, lodging, of course, flights, all those types of things if needed. But yeah, so we're paying for a certain number of hours. Once we get past that hourly number that we're in essence guaranteeing, we then pay you additional amount for the hours that you do work. So yes, there's a guaranteed amount, which you're guaranteed to get that no matter what. But many of our Santas, on-call Santas, actually get more than that because they end up working additional hours. And all of our Santas that do mall type work or full season work of some sort, many of those we actually try to find additional gigs for them as well, so that they can earn additional money that way as well.
Very good. I know that was a point that was misinformation going out this last week. I know you stepped in and tried to explain it, but I wanted to give you one more chance to explain, again, so everyone will understand where we was at on that. Okay,
yeah,
so
I appreciate that. And if anybody wants to or isn't clear about what that is, because it's a little bit of different, most of the time we all talk about mall work or gig work, which is gigs, homes, office, retail establishments that are hourly. Most people aren't familiar with this type of work, which this on-call Santa or the standby Santa. Most big agencies have a number of those people, and it's it's sort of an interesting job because you don't know exactly where you're going to go, but you get to go to many interesting places and really help out Santas, because many times it's a medical issue that a Santa isn't able to fill out. So you're really able to be a very valuable part of the Santa Claus community.
Little tidbit to that, as a old truck driver myself, that's one of the things that intrigues a lot of truck drivers is you don't know where you're going to go tomorrow. You make a load here, you make a load there, and you never know. So that's, if you're a Santa and a retired truck driver, you would really love that gig. Okay, so I know you just mentioned Jenny. I know that we have covered this on our past show, but I think it's important that folks know about Hire Santa and your staff and what duties each one of them do. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I can hit some highlights. We've got a number of people full-time and part-time that we outsource a few things. So Jenny, she is the sort of the chief Santa wrangler. She really deals with Santas, make sure that they have events and know the information about them. So once we get an event booked, she's responsible for making sure that Santa gets to the event on time, as well as some customer service from our clients. And she's the single point of contact for those things. Many of you know Jonathan from this last year. He's still in his first year, but he's gone through a full season. So he's a veteran now, and he really deals with our sales, is primarily dealing with our sales, as well as helping me on some special projects. And then we just got a number of what we call part-time or things that we outsource to a variety of people that are out there. So those are our main two people that most of the Santa Claus entertainers deal with on a daily basis.
Mitch, how many Santas does Hire Santa typically employ each season on average?
Not enough. So we have several thousand in our database, and every year we book a record number of Santas for a variety of events. That can go from a short 30-minute visit all the way up to a full season event that might have 300 or even 400 hours from it. We also do a number of virtual visits. Though the virtual visits were down this last year, we still have some number of great partners that we did virtual visits for, as well as our virtual visits ourselves. And so I know there's a question about virtual visits that, yes, we do virtual visits as well. And a number of our clients do virtual visits. There's been lots of sort of interesting things that have happened about virtual visits, about guaranteed pay. And that's another thing that really stands out about Hire Santa, because we're built on the thought of we want to treat Santas the way we want to be treated, because I'm a professional Santa, and I want to treat Santas the same way I want to be treated. And so when we do virtual visits, we guarantee pay. And most of our programs are where we say we're going to pay you regardless of whether you have events. And again, this year we did that with a number of Santas. And I think everybody had a great experience with virtual visits.
Hire Santa, your quality company and quality people too, Mitch. So we appreciate that.
Thanks,
and
Barry.
besides the U.S. and Canada, what other countries does Hire Santa employ Santas in?
It's all over the place. And virtual visits made it even more so. We had a number of Santas that speak Spanish. And then I know, say Puerto Rico's a territory, but Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, Mexico, we had Santas from those areas, Spanish-speaking countries, who did virtual visits for this year. But the Caribbean, China, Dubai. We sent 2 Santas to Dubai. We're going to have Matt Marbury was a Santa for us, as well as Randy Parsons. Were in Dubai, and they did just great this last year. So we really do send Santas all over the world, primarily to the U.S., but it's a special. I'm often jealous of the Santas that get to go over to Asia or the Middle East to appear as Santas. And another thing that's really interesting is we get this question a lot: is like, Hire Santa doesn't hire non-real bearded Santas, but we do. Matt's a great example of this. One of our literally premier events in Dubai, Ski Dubai. We had a real bearded Santa with Randy, and then a non-real bearded Santa in Matt, and they loved both of them. Now, those non-real bearded Santas, the traditional bearded Santas or designer bearded Santas, whatever you want to call it, the ones that we do use are top notch, and they really are these glue-on theatrical beards that really have a larger than life magical appearance to them.
Yeah, you mentioned about being a Santa and having Hire Santa. As a Santa, the perspective and what the job curtails as far as, like you said, getting paid and those sort of things, which is a big plus for Hire Santa. Let's stay on the overseas. I'm having trouble talking that overseas thing for a moment. What requirements does a Santa need to travel overseas for a season?
So you have to have a valid passport. But really, the biggest, and most Santas have that. The biggest thing, though, is the flexibility. For mall events, like we're already booking mall gigs right now, and that's why we need these Santas who are maybe looking for a different chair, or working with one company, and now something went wrong, or that they don't maybe their mall went away, or the parent company has sort of downsized the number of locations, and you're hunting for something. We're hunting for full season events right now, and tentatively putting people in. The hard thing about overseas is that they happen late in the season. For whatever reason, the companies that are staffing don't even start working on it until after the third quarter has started. I remember one year we were in November before we had finalized a contract for an overseas Santa. So you have to be willing to wait or be able to move your events around or give them to some other Santa. That's really the hard part. And then be willing to travel overseas. And it's a very difficult situation where you can't commit to something else before you've committed to us. So that's the big thing, is having that flexibility, or allowing, many of our Santas will sign up for us for full season, like they're a full season traveling Santa, and we'll say, hey, we've got this opportunity for you to go to Asia. And because they'd already signed up for us as a full season traveling Santa, we knew that they were available for us, and then they agreed to go over there. So that flexibility, as well as then the ability to travel overseas with a valid passport.
Mitch, what's usually included in an overseas contract as far as travel, housing, expenses, etc.?
Yeah, so most of the time, and it's depending on the client, the Santas love it because you're staying at usually a very nice hotel, and you're including all the food. So, if you are a traveling Santa, if you're a Santa that travels in the U.S., normally you get your travel and your lodging, and there might be a per diem, but most of the time there's not based on the client. But here, you're staying at a nice either a resort or hotel, and they provide the food as well as treat you like royalty. It's really most of the times it's just a great gig, and you get to explore the countryside. We really try to have our Santas not have to be there work 7 days a week, and then sometimes the number of hours that they have to work is really fairly small. Sometimes it's not. It depends on the client, but it's a good working environment. Travel, food, lodging, and then sort of a normal paycheck as well that you would expect at a full season event.
Do any of the overseas deals have multiple locations or events, or are they just a full season exclusive gig? In other words, if you went over there, say to Dubai to do a chair job, is there an opportunity that comes up to do anything, a side job of any sort?
It's actually rare that happens. Most of those things, those are the events that you're doing. We've had an occasion where it happens where the client wants the Santa to also do some other things, But what does happen, generally speaking, is media appearances. More of those overseas events end up getting on doing media events. We had a Santa in China a couple years back that was all over their TV, and they just thought that Santa was the most amazing thing, and so he did a number of interviews and did those types of things, that usually keeps the Santa busy as well.
And like I said, they treat you like royalty over there.
Yeah.
So we've heard of some of these contracts in the past that also include interpreters or translators, bodyguards. Is that normal for the overseas jobs?
I actually haven't heard of bodyguards, but English, fortunately, is the universal language. And so most of the Santas don't have trouble communicating because they're in very well-populated areas, and a lot of expats are around there. And so many people, say in the Middle East in particular, everybody speaks English. They also maybe speak some other languages, but in terms of sort of the language of business and the language of Santa, for the most part, it's English. And so they usually can speak to the children in English and be understood.
Fantastic. Barry?
Mitch, we touched on virtual visits just a little bit earlier. We believe it's going to be a pretty good market for some that chooses to do that in the future. If somebody wanted to reach out to Hire Santa and do virtual visits for you, what do they need to go about doing?
Yeah, so it's evolved over the last 2 or 3 years. We've been doing virtual visits for a number of years. 2020 was definitely the high watermark for virtual visits. 2021 was down substantially for a number of the people out there, and I think that they overestimated how many virtual visits they would have in 2021. But we still did thousands of virtual visits in 2021, and the landscape's changed. Back in 2020, Hire Santa, as well as other agencies, would really help train the Santas because no one really knew what was going on, and there was a lot of information online about how to do it. Nowadays, you really have to have some skill yourself. You have to have either a basic setup, whether you have the lights, the backdrop, a decent camera to be able to do it. If you have some familiarity with OBS to be able to do virtual backgrounds, that's even better. This last year, we had a very major client who actually shipped out computers. They used an actual cell phone for the camera, but they shipped out everything to all the equipment to the Santas. But those Santas already had to have a pretty good tech base to be able to use it. But it worked out pretty well as well. So first thing about virtual visits is you need to have some practice in doing it, doing things like this, talking to people on Zoom, and really worrying about your light and your cameras. I think that is a good thing to start out with. And then just reach out to us, reach out to Jonathan at hiresanta.com. He's also in our Facebook group, and he's the one who helps organize that. If you're interested in doing virtual visits, it is a smaller market than it was 2 years ago. And we actually think it's going to be a little bit down again this year compared with what it was in 2021. 2021 was this reopening trade. People were coming back. They wanted to experience Santa in person. And I think that's going to continue this year unless we get other types of disruptions, other types of variants of the COVID virus.
Yeah, as we talked last week with our guest, Stuart Deacon Jr., he does a lot of virtual stuff also. And talking with others in the industry, I really think that virtual is here to stay. Like you said, because of the COVID, 2020 was a big year. But I think that in future years, you're going to see it grow back up to a certain point. It will never replace in-person visits, but I do think it will complement it quite well. Okay, so Mitch, does Hire Santa have those out-of-season opportunities to perform as the Easter Bunny or any other characters? And what about those Christmas and July events?
Yeah, so last year we did more Christmas and July events than we've ever done before, like maybe twice as many than we've ever done before. So there's definitely some opportunities, but very, very small. There's not that many there's not that many Christmas and July events compared with Christmas events. So we do get some of those events, and it's pretty, when we get those things, it's sort of a bonus. Certainly Easter Bunny, yes, we need Easter Bunnies. The problem with Easter Bunnies, it's hard to differentiate a high school kid in a cheap Easter bunny suit to what we portray. But if you have a very nice Easter bunny suit, send that, and you have appeared as the Easter bunny before, we could definitely use you. I know we're hunting right now in Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas. I was just looking at Texas. That's why those are both in Texas. And I think maybe in Waco. I think there's just in Texas alone. I know that we're hunting for Easter bunnies. It's also a smaller window, just really the weekend before Easter and then Easter weekend. It's really just 2 weekends that the Easter bunny appears. And that's really all that we do. We do very few Easter bunny events, about the same number we probably do of Christmas and July events. But both of those are sort of some opportunities for Santas to maybe have some fun and do different characters.
There are a couple of similarities between Santa and the Easter Bunny. Santa has to be over-exaggerated with his motions, with the things that he does. But the Easter Bunny really has to do that because he doesn't speak. The other thing is, if Santa was to fall sick on Christmas Eve, who would fill in for him? It's been said the Easter Bunny because he already knows the route. Over to you.
Yeah, Mitch, is there any topic we've not covered or any business points that you would want folks to know about Hire Santa, Jenny, or yourself?
No, I think that, I think we've pretty much covered all the things. At Hire Santa, we're just here to help bring the season to life. And if we can be of any support to Santas, please do it. If you have a Santa question in the Hire Santa Santa Claus Entertainer group, it's a great spot to ask other Santas questions and to then be part of the community. And all these Facebook groups, including yours, are really do a great job of that, of creating this sense of community and growing them together. But we're always hunting for Santas. We're working right now looking at the number of gigs we had in each city, in each state, and compare that with the number of leads and comparing that with the number of Santas, looking at a couple of things. And, some things that jumped out to us in particular, like New York City, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Miami, some of these big areas, we have lots of gigs and we don't have enough Santas or lots of leads, and we don't have enough Santas in those areas. So if you're from one of those areas, please reach out to Jenny, because we'd love to talk to you either about a weekend warrior position or just making sure that you're in our database and that we understand what your schedule looks like.
Also, I think that if you're networking or have a group of Santas that you meet with regularly, be it a chapter or whatever, share that with your fellow Santas and Mrs. Clauses. Not so much Mrs. Claus, because as we found in past shows, you don't have as many calls for Mrs. Claus as you do Santa. But tell your other, Santas in your area that Mitch is looking. And, call Jenny and see what they have to offer. Okay, Mitch, let's talk about your upcoming appearances and presentations, Santa schools or events that you'll be attending in 2022.
Yeah, so I'm excited to be out there. I'm going to be at the Lone Star Santas event into March. I've got a presentation that I'm doing there, and probably going to be talking about working with all types of agencies. It's going to be a really good presentation. I've given something similar before, and I've revamped it, and we're working on really understanding how to work with agencies to your advantage as a Santa and what type of agencies are out there. I'm also then going to be doing be at the ISC in Atlanta. We're a sponsor. We're one of the main sponsors of the show. We just are helping or partnering with IBRBS to make that show fantastic. We've got some really great, exciting announcements that I can't actually say yet, but we'll be doing it. I'm also going to be working on some work. I've got a new workshop that is going to be out. I don't think it's announced yet, but I'm already working on that, and it's going to be a great workshop. And I hope to see everyone who's there to come see me, come see our booth. I'm going to have, there's going to be a time where I'll be in full elf. There'll also be we've got a couple of sort of guest appearances of people that are going to be at our booth. I want you to stop by and see us, as well as we'll have a great drawing for some terrific prizes as well. And then later on in the year, right now I'm planning on being at the Santa Gathering as well as C.W. Howard. I've never been to C.W. Howard. I'm super excited to be going to that and to hear and see the folks that are going to that school as well.
All right. At this point, does any of our viewers have any questions or comments for Mitch at this time? If so, pop them in the comment box, and Angie, get them up on the screen for you.
That's
You know,
great.
while we're waiting for that, you know, this year it's sort of reopening. It looks like these schools are going to really be full this year. I know that the ISC itself has, I think, less than 75, maybe 75 tickets left out of 600 or so. So they're really winding down. And so if you're thinking about going, you should definitely jump on that pretty quick. Does Hire Santa travelers have to provide their own wardrobe? Generally, so Nick, thanks for the question so much. Make sure you're in our Hire Santa group, and we're always happy to answer those questions as well. The answer is it depends on the client. Some clients have very specific wardrobes that they want Santas to wear. Other times, and most of the times, Santas are taking their own suits with them. And even if the client is providing their own, it's always a good idea to take your own suits with you, just in case the client something happens, or or you need to do an event outside of the venue as well. But so always take your own. I would say that 75 to 85% requires Santas to use their own suits, and then there's probably 15 or 20% that the client provides suits.
It's a good question, Mick. Thanks for being with us. I believe he's from Australia, right?
No. He's here in the States.
Oh, okay. Any other questions or comments for Mitch?
That shows that Mitch is such a thorough guest. He's answered everything.
He's got.
I just talk a lot. I get that a lot. Put me on the camera, and I'll keep on talking.
That's okay. You do a great job at everything you do. We're proud to be your friend and to be able to highlight you here on our show. One last time, anyone have any other questions or comments? Anything they want?
So Greg asked a question about Lancaster. So I am planning on being at the Santa Gathering. I've been asked to talk there. Probably just a presentation. I did a little bit more last year, but I am planning on being at the Santa Gathering this year. I think it's September 9th through 12th, or 9th through 11th. Don't hold me to that, but I think it's that time period. And then I'll be at the end of September, maybe the 31st through the 2nd of October is when C.W. Howard. I think that's it, and I'm planning on being at both of those this year.
Scott Parker says, "Great show, Mitch."
Oh, hey Scott and Randall, the money is in the mail.
Well, Mitch, stay with us, but Claus, at this point, before we close the show, we have a segment called Santa's Point of View. We use this time to give out teaching tips from our past experiences we may have had in the chair. Would you do us an honor in doing tonight's short point of view as your expound on your experience as Santa Allen?
Yeah, absolutely. Though short is always hard, but
Hang on just a second. Got to give you a formal lead-in, brother.
Well, I just finished it. Y'all missed it. I was talking right through the break. I can't exactly remember what it was, but yes. So, the tip that I would have is know what you're doing before you go into it. Home visits are absolutely my favorite types of events. You really get to see children grow up if you get to do the visit over and over again. And the most important thing for me to do is to know what I'm going to be doing ahead of time. I know that it's a party. There's going to be 3 or 4 kids there. There's going to be gifts out front. And I have what's called a run of show, which is in my head, I know that I'm going to make this big entrance. I'm going to greet everybody and gather them around a festive scene. Then I'm going to perform my version of The Night Before Christmas, but from Santa's point of view. And then usually that leads into either singing of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because it's not mentioned. So I have a transition into that. Or I teach everyone to laugh like Santa and get the adults involved. Then I listen to the children's Christmas hopes and dreams, followed up with pictures, of course, throughout. And then I usually have a farewell as at the end. So there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so I think having a very specific thing that you're going to do and have a plan of action makes your show, because that's in essence what it is, you're performing for them, much better. And it also then you can dictate about when you're going to be leaving. You check with the person and ask if there's anything else they need, any other pictures, and then you give them the hearty farewell and you're out the door. So having understanding what you're going to do, the client expectations, having this run of show, and then making sure you ask before you leave if there's anything else is a winning strategy for home visits.
Great tip. Well, Mitch, on behalf of my co-hosts Santa Bob and Elf Angela, thank you so much for taking time to join us on the Tuesday Night Live show and share your expertise so we can get you to know you better. Stay with us and we'll chat a little bit more after we finish the show in the green room.
Yeah, well, thank y'all so much for having me again. It's always a pleasure to talk with the both of you as well as all of your viewers. And if I can be of any assistance, or Hire Santa can be of any assistance to anyone out there, please reach out to us in our Facebook group, and we'd love to help out in any way we can.
Thank you, brother. And had to wear green tonight, Your Honor.
I love it. You know, you got a little Grinch going on there. I see. I didn't know if you were a subliminal there about being a Grinch, but you look great.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, everyone, invite and share others to our Tuesday Night Live broadcast, where we're here every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, as well as our Bob and Barry preview show on Mondays at 3 p.m. Invite others to our two Facebook groups. You can find us at Santa and the Business of Being Santa and Sat Bob's Live. Thank you for being with us.
And Mitch, one last time, tell everyone how they can get in touch with you or Jenny. And
yeah, so the easiest way is to go to our Facebook group. It's the Hire Santa, Santa Claus Entertainers Group. You have to join. You got to show that you're actually a Santa Claus or Mrs. Claus entertainer. And then, or you can just reach out to us. Go to hiresanta.com, and there's a link for Santa's jobs. Fill it out, and then we'll be in touch with you. We'll help you get into the group that way as well. And anytime you want to reach out to me, you can always shoot me an email at santa@hiresanta.com.
Also tell folks out there tonight about your shows that you do on Hire Santa each week.
Yeah, so on ours, there is, we do the State of the Season, which I do a 20, 30-minute talk about what we see going on in the industry. It's a fun, fast-paced show about what's going on, what we're seeing, any particular gigs that are coming up or things that we're seeing in the market. And then usually opposite Thursdays, there's a Santa's interview. This Thursday, day after tomorrow, is Matt Marbury is coming up, talks about working in Dubai and being a designer beard Santa traveling. So one of the topics we talked about today. Also, one other thing is, I put this in the link. I don't know if y'all shared it or not. We're doing a Santa Claus survey this year. It's about a 3 or 5 minute little survey that you can go and take. It gives us a little bit of information about who Santa is, as well as what kind of content and what kind of things that can Hire Santa do to make things better. So I think that'll be in the show notes as well. So if you haven't filled that out, please fill that out. We'd really appreciate it.
Yes, it's at the top comment in tonight's show in the comment boxes. Check that out. We'll also put a link up on Sat Bob's Live for you and see if we can help get that filled out for you. All right, so my brother, thank you so much for being an incredible guest as always. We're so blessed to have you. We wanted to say thank you to all of our sponsors, Derek Dugan at Sleigh Driver Apparel Company, also Spangle the Clown, Stuff for Santa, and schoolofsantas.com. And remember you can catch the replay of this and every show, including the Bob and Barry Show, on our home group, Santa and the Business of Being Santa, and or Sat Bob's Live. So, Mitch, again, thank you so much, brother. Barry, great show. Elf Angela, thank you so much. Thank you to all of our guests. Remember to join us for our next Tuesday Night Live show each week, 7 p.m. Central Time. Same Claus time, same Claus channel. Thanks, everyone. God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless. We love you. And thank you for all those encouraging messages people sent me over the loss of my uncle today. I appreciate that.
That's great.
Well appreciated. And just God bless you. See you next week when we do this. Be Claus, we care. Good night.